Hello, this is James McGorn, and today I'm going to be talking about Shadow PC. This is a viewer requested video, and they are asking specifically what gameplay is like on the Shadow PC, so I thought a first person shooter would be an appropriate means by which to show gameplay on Shadow. And I'm going to preface this entire discussion first by saying that this is not a good example of the performance you are going to get at home with your Shadow PC. And at the same time, I'm also going to state that this is a fair example of what the performance is going to be for you at home with your Shadow PC. Now, those two statements might seem contradictory at first. However, they are not. And the reason why I say that is because with any streaming service, the distance between you and the server source makes all the difference in the world as to how your real world experience is going to be. Now, for me, I am 30 to 45 miles away from the data center that this happens to be running in. So I'm getting a very good connection. Now, I've heard reports on the Discord that people are as far away as Oregon and they're getting decent performance, or as far away as LA and also getting decent performance out of Shadow. But I happen to be a lot closer. So with that in mind, let me go ahead and dig right into the meat and potatoes. The gameplay you're seeing right now is actually 4K gameplay on Shadow PC, streaming to my laptop over Wi-Fi. Why Wi-Fi? Because I felt that Wi-Fi was a fair comparison. Now this is Wi-Fi running at 15 megabits per second. So it is handling this video very, very well. And I'm also recording it off of the laptop. So my laptop's doing double duty and it's having no problem keeping up. So now that you're watching the gameplay and hearing my voice, let's go ahead and talk about what Shadow PC is, how it compares to its competition, and how that directly impacts you. So what is Shadow PC? Shadow PC is essentially a cloud gaming computer. Can you use it for productivity? Yes. Can you use it for mission critical programs? Yes. Can you use it for 3D modeling and CAD and video rendering? Yes, yes, and yes. Do you want to? No, no you don't. This is primarily for gaming. If you want those types of capabilities, yes, you can run it off of Shadow, but keep in mind if there's any bump, Shadow's normal case of operation is just to reset the machine back to normal, which basically means deleting everything and giving you a fresh new machine. So if you have any proprietary software like Lightwave or MySBD, or if you're modeling high-end CAD programs, you may just eat a whole license right off of that. However, can it do those tasks really well? Oh yes it can, because Shadow PC is a $2,000, roughly spec'd $2,000 gaming machine. Now, the advantage Shadow offers is not really apparent the first time you sign up, but you will start to see some of the advantages as I talk to them. So let's go ahead and bring out what those advantages are. First of all, if you've ever been in technology and you've dealt with computers, most of the time if anything goes bump, you are your own tech support. You have to solve the problem yourself, or if you're lucky to work for a corporation, you have someone there to solve your problems. But with your home PCs, if something goes wrong, hardware fails, Windows update fails to install properly, you're on your own. So in terms of support, if you look at it like a support contract, $34 a month for essentially support from a dedicated team, it's actually quite good in the world of technology. But for the same price, you're also getting the gaming PC. So how else does Shadow PC offer an advantage over, say, buying your own hardware? Well, most of the time, if you're playing Shadow on your mobile device, which is how I primarily use Shadow. I'm one of those rare individuals that actually travels a lot for his work. And because of that, I'm on my phone 99% of the time. And even when I'm at clients, I set up decks and I get to work at using decks as my primary environment. So when I get home, actually my cell phone is also the way I work. I just plug into my deck stock and I'm off to the races. That hasn't happened recently because I got a Shadow box, which I understand they just discontinued, and they're coming out with a brand new one called the Blade Ghost, I believe. I'll have a link in the description. which actually looks to be more impressive. And I find that the shadow box performs very well. I happen to enjoy it quite a lot. Continuing on to why I find Shadow PC so much better than, let's say, its competitors, is because I've actually used Shadow PC's competitors. And I cannot stress this enough. Shadow PC does not share resources, or if they do, I have not been able to detect it. And that's actually very, very important, because I've used other services, Vortex, I've used. In fact, I'll just list off all of them so you can see that I have a pretty good insight. I've used Vortex. I have GeForce Now through Shield TV. I've used Liquid Sky. I've used Paperspace with ParSpec. I've even used Amazon Workspace's renting a GPU at 25 cents an hour for gameplay. And I've tried all of them, and I could say flat off the bat that Shadow PC does not share resources, and that's actually very important as a gamer, because when you're playing a game and the AI needs time for the CPU to run processes and the GPU is dedicated, that actually impacts latency. And latency is what will make your streaming service live or die. That's what killed Liquid Sky for me. I was a huge supporter of them, and when you're sharing resources and you're playing a game like Battlefield 1 at max settings, imagine you move your mouse and it doesn't respond for 2 or 3 or 4 milliseconds. You may not seem that like that's enough, but if you're trying to get precise aiming, 2 or 3 milliseconds means you're dead. And mind you, I don't play first-person shooters that often, but playing this, I had no problem locking onto enemies as best I could. Now, I'm not the best at first-person shooters, but, you know, I want it to feel as if I'm natively in front of the machine, and that's what Shadow PC offers, that native approach. So, let's look at Shadow PC from another perspective. How much would $2,000 a month cost you if you were to fund it at $34 a month? Well, I already did the math. You're looking at 58 months. Now, I'm no math genius, but that's more than 4 years. And 4 years is a long time in the world of hardware. And that's where another advantage that Shadow PC has is that they're upgrading the hardware on an ongoing basis. So when a new graphics processor comes out, they're able to get it to you faster because they're not only able to negotiate a group discount with NVIDIA or AMD, but they're able to buy these things in bulk and then pass those savings on indirectly via your Shadow subscription to you as the user. So those are some of the nice advantages that Shadow PC offers. If you guys have any further questions, please feel free to let me know. I'll try and answer it as possible. Also, I have a code in the description to $10 off if you'd like to try out Shadow PC for a month. And full disclosure, yes, it gives me $10 off per month for a subscription, but in reality, it also gives you $10 off in your subscription for that month. So essentially, you're trying out Shadow for $24, which most people could say, hey, no, that's equal to movie tickets, but it gives me a month's worth of trial time and gaming to see how it performs. And I believe it's of value to people who actually want to check it out. So go ahead and use that code in the description to get you $10 off. And by the way, I've actually met the Shadow PC staff. I've talked with them, and they're pretty cool people. And what I can tell is they have a business model that seems to be working. So this is James McCorn signing off. See you in the next video.